All right. Could you tell us what your name is, please?
Althea.
And Althea, what grade are you in school?
6.
And how old are you?
12.
Now you're going to read the story to me, and then after your story is finished, I'd like you to tell me everything you remember about the story. All right?
Okay.
So you can get started here, and then you just start reading there and go on. You don't have to read that section. That's why it's covered. Just read the title, and then that part over there.
Space pet. As far as I know, there has never been a rule against pets in the space station. We had just a space station. We had just never had any pets until Steve Olson decided he wanted one. None of us never ever figured out why he chose the pet he did. At first he saw Chalbo. When I was working in my office, I heard a musical whisper near my ear and thought it had come over the radio. I waited for the news to follow. Instead, there was a lovely song. I looked up and heard my first view of Chalbo. She was a small yellow carrot hanging very still in the air. Her wings were folded quietly. At her side, she could stay that way because nothing has ever waited in space before. I recognized from the surprise he's singing a canary in our space station. She did a kind of backward loop. No earthbound character could have done it. In the time of all these pets was everybody's pets. We had a little trouble hiding her when important guests came to visit the space station. We couldn't be sure if we were breaking any rules. Have her there, but we liked her too much to take a chance once. Lose her. Calvin always got noisy when he hit her. Sometimes he had to think fast to explain the peeps and whistles that came from the oldest place. There was a new arrow second, but then who would ever dream of looking for a carrot in a space station? For all of us at the station were on duty for 12 hours at the time. This was not as hard as it sounds, since you need little sheep in space out. Of course, there is no day and night when you are always floating in sunlight. But we found it erased to think of times and bringing being delivered into day and night. One morning when I woke up, I could surely drag myself into bed. I was still only half awake when I joined the other men at breakfast. I noticed they seemed unsure, sleepy too. Then I saw that one sheet at the table was empty. "There's Steve," I asked, "was looking for Calvin." Someone answered, "He can't find her. She usually wakes him up." Just then Steve appeared at the door. In the hand lay a tiny bunch of yellow feathers with claws sticking up in the air. "What happened?" we asked. "I don't know," said Steve sadly. "I just found her. This look like this. Let's find a look." And Jock Danson, our cook and doctor, we waited in silence while he had chamber against the early, trying to hear a heartbeat. Presently he stood his head. "I can't hear her heart, but that does not prove she's dead. Let's try give Carbon some oxygen." Carbon was put into a face mask. It was large as an oxygen tent for her. 2 hours daily supply. She came back to life at once. Benjamin Boardley says Steve removed the mask and she hopped onto his finger. She sang her song, then flew over against in his hand. "I don't understand what's wrong with her," said Steve. "She's never done this before." That is, for the last few minutes I had been trying to remembered something. My mind seemed to be working very slow, as if I were still asleep. Suddenly I understood there's something wrong with the air. I yelled. That's why Chamber passed out. I just remembered. The coal mines often take colonists down into mines to wear the men when the air is bad. "Oh no," said Jim, "our energy, the arm would have gone off. We have two good warning strings. The second arm isn't cocked yet." Another man reminded him. That really upset Jim. He left out a word. The rest of us passed around the oxygen bottle like an Indian peace pipe. We gave Chambers more oxygen and she came back to life. 10 minutes later, Jim came back to explain what had happened. During the night, part of the air lane had frozen, and the arm had filled to go off. $500,000 worth of energy unsteered had left us down without carbon. All of us might have died. Today, if you should visit a space station, don't be surprised if you hear a carolling song. It means you have a double safety at the coast of some bird seas.
Thank you very much, Althea, and you can close your book now.